Most builders appreciate what public blockchains unlock, like composability and liquidity, but many are concerned that every move is on display. Rolf Versluis thinks you shouldn't have to choose. He's the co-founder of Horizen, a privacy-first layer 3 on Base, built to keep things auditable when needed while keeping sensitive details off the public timeline. Rolf, welcome to Token for Your Thoughts.
Thanks, Lindsey. Appreciate it. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show. Looking forward to talking with you today. So before we get started on all things Horizen, can you give us a bit of a background on, what you were doing, I guess, before you entered crypto and how you entered the space? It's always nice to hear the backstory.
Sure, absolutely. I've been in a few different industries. Started out as an officer in the Navy on a submarine,
Okay.
nuclear engineer.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh. Wow.
was helping to operate one of our U.S. Navy fast attack submarines out of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii for 4 years. And
Oh my goodness.
that's a different way to start, but a great way to get good experience in operations and leadership and making sure that you do things the right way, because the penalty for doing the wrong way is rather severe.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. That sounds stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
But
Sounds really fun though and interesting. We actually haven't had another guest on the podcast that started out on nuclear warships as well. So there's a little bit of a pattern here, it seems.
yeah. Well, I really have been interested in technology and science fiction and all sorts of things throughout my life, and I thought going the technical route, serving the country, was a good way to start, and it was. But I got out after 5 years and went through a few different industries: industrial water treatment, the semiconductor industry, and then I ended up working for Cisco Systems in the data networking industry in about 2000. And that was my first opportunity to be part of an S-curve technology implementation. Back then, there was no such thing as this video calls or video meetings online. And been part of Cisco Systems, first working them for directly, and then owning my own Cisco reseller and integration business, was able to help roll out voice over IP and video IP and upgrade data networks everywhere, put in better Wi-Fi, security, all sorts of things like that. And that gave
Wow.
me a lot of experience taking the business from 2 people up to 60 over 14 years, and then selling it to private equity. So that's where I really enjoyed being part of a rapidly growing industry, and saw lots of different things
Hmm.
about an industry as it starts from an idea to full adoption.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. And then in experiencing that growth and scaling up from 2 people to 60. Yeah, that must have been quite the experience as well.
Learned a lot of things,
Hmm.
operational, financial, um, sales, technical. It was really good experience, and I think I, I had the opportunity to get insight on a lot of different industries. And, when you have payroll that you got to meet every month, and you got to get those purchase orders and get people to deliver the services and then get paid on them, it makes things really, I don't know, real very
Hmm.
quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And how did that compare to your Navy days? Did you find, like you said, you learned a lot about leadership there? Like, did anything kind of prove useful, or transfer over particularly well?
Yeah, one of the things people would ask me if I missed my time in the military, and um, it's no matter what branch of the military, it's or public service, it's difficult and it's frustrating sometimes being part of a large organization. But one of the things that I really enjoyed was being part of a group of people that are smart, driven, well trained, and they all have a single purpose, a single mission, and everybody's working together to accomplish that.
Hmm.
Uh, and try to bring that into our company by being very focused and defining roles and having everybody work together. And really enjoyed that. Our company was a great place to work. We accomplished a lot of great things. One of the things I did learn as these new technology waves go through the industry, and there's a lot of different books and ideas about this, but basically it goes from an idea where people say it won't work, and then it becomes
Yes.
obvious and everybody adopts it. But then
Yeah.
once everybody has adopted it, it kind of tails off. And I got to see that whole thing, and it was hard to maintain that sense of purpose and everybody working towards the same thing when we had pretty much replaced all the phone systems with upgraded data networks that could carry voice and video. After
Uh,
that, it wasn't as exciting. It wasn't as fun. It wasn't as profitable either.
right. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's a really good point. Yeah, I did ROTC when I was in college, and that was the same takeaway from me. I had just never experienced like the power of teamwork on that level. Like some of the situations you're in, you're pushed to your limits, and you just think, I can't do this, but you have a team around you, and you're like, well, everyone's depending on you. We all have to finish this together. It's like if I just give up, it's going to impact everyone else. And I just remember that I was doing things that if I was by myself, I wouldn't have, I would have been like, no, I can't do this. But then having like the encouragement and just, yeah, it was really extraordinary, that experience. That was the thing I took away too, was yeah, the teamwork and having that shared purpose.
And you
So
learned what you were capable of doing when you're under
yeah,
pressure.
yes,
It's not often that you get tested and pushed and see
hmm
what you are able to accomplish. It's
yes.
not fun in the middle of it, but
hmm
afterward, it's rewarding.
Yeah, I know. And then we'd always be like, that was awesome. Can't wait for the next one. And at the time, you're like, why am I voluntarily putting myself through this? This is so hard. But no, I did really enjoy it overall. Okay, so how then did your path lead to crypto?
Yeah. So, like I said, I've always enjoyed new technologies, and by reading lots of science fiction and being an engineer and working in different technological environments, I
Hmm.
tend to get a pretty good feel for what technologies um, are gonna go and kind of take over everything. And so, I had been reading about Bitcoin since, I don't know, 2011. There was an article on Slashdot or something, but was running my business with a bunch of families dependent on us, and then working through a business sale. And so I didn't really, oh, and then my wife and I have 4 children, so they were going
Oh my
through
gosh.
all sorts of things. So I didn't have time to do anything with Bitcoin until after I
Right.
sold the business, finished working on my obligations, and then took time to look at different things to do. And um, I experimented, gosh, when Bitcoin was $350 each Bitcoin. I started doing Bitcoin mining,
Oh,
and I
okay.
realized with my experience in running nuclear power plants and doing data networks, that I
Hmm.
could scale up Bitcoin mining pretty well. So over the next few years, scaled it up to over 1,000 machines that were running Bitcoin. Uh,
Wow.
it happens to be North Georgia here, where I'm at is a good place. There's a lot of data centers here, so power is
Ah,
decent. Tornadoes and hurricanes and
yeah.
earthquakes, stuff like that. So that worked out good. Um, and then that got me into um, my, my son. We homeschooled him, and so he would help me build GPU miners when he was 15 years old. So he was
My
building computers
goodness.
with me and learning Linux and testing them. And
Wow.
he's about to graduate university with a degree in computer science now. And I
Nice.
think it was a good start for him.
Definitely. Yeah, I wonder how many other 15-year-olds can say they were building GPUs and mining Bitcoin. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. So, I mean, he was learning, troubleshooting methodology and all sorts of stuff like that. But that's what when I got it into looking at all sorts of alternatives to Bitcoin, altcoins as we call them then, and um, so had the opportunity with a number of other people to launch Horizen, back then known as ZenCash, in 2017, with the idea because as a business owner, I saw that Bitcoin was great, but business owners they would need to be able to do payments with what I call business level privacy. And so business level privacy is your competitors can't see who your customers are. Your
Hmm.
suppliers can't see who your other suppliers are, and what you pay them. When you pay your employees, they can't see what everybody else gets paid. That
Yes.
causes issues.
Hmm.
And in our existing financial system, banks provide that service. So banks keep all the information private, and they send the payments to whoever needs them. And then, so that aspect we were able to address by launching Zen, and that was very exciting. And then over the next few years, we worked to build a labs company. So we built Horizen Labs. And then we worked to add the additional capabilities because just being able to have private payments in a Bitcoin type wallet wasn't enough.
Hmm.
The nice thing, of course, is that not only can you have private payments, but in the cryptocurrency space, you don't need anybody's permission to send and receive payments.
Right.
Being in this space, I've had multiple bank accounts shut down for my business. So not everybody actually
Uh,
has permission to have a bank account, even in the US, and it's certainly the same in other countries. So over the years, we worked to both scale the payments and to make it more straightforward. And with this latest iteration earlier this year, the team got together and said, what do we really need as we look at making a change in Horizen? We've gotten pretty far. We've learned a lot of things. We've built a lot of our own stuff, but we need a bunch of customers, so a lot of users, and we need to, over the years, really the most creative and capable types of things can be done on Ethereum and the Ethereum scaling L2s.
hmm.
When we talk about stablecoin payments, that's pretty much mostly on Ethereum
Hmm.
and the major L2s on Ethereum, whether it's Arbitrum or Base or Optimism or things like that. And so we took a basic look at what we wanted to accomplish with Horizen. And there's a few things. For projects that have been around for a while, uh, they're starting to run out of money, just from the way the tokenomics have run. And so
Hmm.
it's a lot of money to run a blockchain is one thing. And then you need to have a bunch of users. And then it's not necessary to recreate all the technology that has already been created. So we took a hard look and what we wanted to do. And at the beginning of 2025, Horizen was a layer one blockchain with its own wallet. Great reputation in the space. When we do something, when we say we're going to do something, we do it. And over
Hmm.
the years, that really helps. We've also been consistent in our message that private payments are important. And we also follow the laws of the countries that we're in.
It's always
And
good.
Right, and so that's kind of that's capital that you build up. You build up a reputation. You build up a track record of success and the consistency of the message. But we had the opportunity to say, how can we actually accomplish what we're looking to do? And so we really needed to be able to have smart contracts, and then low cost operations for the blockchain, and then low fees. And when we looked at where this could all be accomplished, and then adding our own special sauce of understanding private payments and all the ins and outs of doing that, um, we decided that being an L3 app chain on Base was really the best place to be. So
Okay.
Base is one of the fastest growing Ethereum ecosystems.
Hmm.
They're great to work with. Zen has been listed on Coinbase for a long time. Zen's been listed on all the major exchanges for a long time, except Zen was delisted on Korean exchanges because Korean government regulations don't allow any types of private payments.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So what we learned in that process was not only is it important to have business level privacy, but in order to get businesses to use your project, you have to be able to allow them to be compliant with the local regulatory bodies. That means that if someone
Right.
comes with a subpoena, the business, just like a bank, they have to be able to share the transactions. You have to be able to share the information with your bookkeeper and accountant. You have to show the taxing authorities that you're staying within regulatory requirements. So there's a difficult balance between creating a product that has the ability to have selective privacy that's managed by the appropriate people. And you look at stablecoins. Earlier this year, I was at a conference in Hong Kong, and I happened to sit next to a regulator from the Bank of China. And I was talking to him about stablecoins. He's like, I talked to a bunch of different businesses, and they're not going to use stablecoins, not the
Oh,
way they are right now. And that's because they don't, all their competitors can see what they do. All their employees can
ah,
see what they do. So
right.
businesses aren't ready to adopt stablecoins the way they are now. So I think the narrative, during the course of this year is, in order to get the next level of adoption, small businesses, medium businesses, large business, there has to be some element of privacy within stablecoin payments, within token payments. And then once you start with payments, there's all sorts of other applications that could use privacy as well. I mean, there's so
Mm-hmm.
many advantages to having things run on a decentralized blockchain that doesn't have any single owner. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to trust a specific third party that they're going to look out for you. There's a bunch of other things that are important about building these new rails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was I have a farm that I do sometimes, and so some of the things that I do for payments on with my farm, as I still write physical checks, paper checks,
Oh,
and
okay.
provide them to people. And I look at it
Wow.
and say, well, that's my bank routing number and my account number. Anybody could just access that information and withdraw funds if they want to. Our entire
Wow.
existing financial infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
is built on these numbers are out in the open, and the banks have to wrap them up with a little with a layer of encryption. But our entire current financial infrastructure is not built for the internet, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it's crazy when you think about it like that, just like what information is out there and definitely the privacy element. So thanks for taking us through, I guess the genesis of Horizen and the evolution through the year, and congrats on the mainnet launch on base. What does that milestone mean for the project? Now that you're on there.
Yeah, it's really exciting because we've changed uh, from having two blockchains, a layer one like Bitcoin and a layer one that's like Ethereum that were connected together, to being a token on base. We made that change back in July. We had the support
Mm-hmm.
of all of our exchange partners for that large migration. And in addition to moving over the 16 million Zen that had already been out there, Zen has a 21 million limit. The other 5 million Zen were minted and put in escrow to be released over 4 years to the DAO and the foundation. Now there's funding. Yeah, I think Zen was maybe $10 recently. So 5 million Zen, that's $50 million, that we can
Wow.
use that to build. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
what do we want to build? And people ask us, why do we even need a blockchain? Well, we need a blockchain for a few different reasons. First off, we want to have a bunch of different applications, and the applications. So right now, Zen can be used for voting, and it can also be as we roll out applications on our own blockchain. The advantage of having our own blockchain over being just a token or a project on base is we have our own application space. So our applications can use as much resources as they want to. And we want resources we want applications to be using a lot of resources because we want them to be used and to grow big. We don't want to just
Mm-hmm.
token that sounds like a good idea. We want to actually build applications to do things. So
Right.
between uh, doing the token migration and the launch of the blockchain, which, yeah, it's a huge deal, we created a grants program. So we're working with Thrive, and every year for the next 5 years, we're providing 200,000 Zen to builders to build applications.
Nice.
And those applications are going to be running on our blockchain that fit within the idea that we have of applications that have an element of privacy and also have the ability to be regulatory compliant.
Okay. That's brilliant. Yeah, that you have that funding available. And then, yeah, you're kind of spearheading this, encouraging this development. So can you take us through, some of the ways that users, are using Horizen? Like kind of give us a scenario, like a problem that they might typically have, and then how they're using Horizen to solve that.
Sure. Now, in this space, there's a trade-off between launching a product and then having the product be perfect the way that you want it to be. You can't wait,
Right.
right? Perfect's the
Totally.
enemy of getting things done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So having the vision, having a roadmap, having a track record of success, and having ideas, and then the money to be able to accomplish it is really important because you can show people how you get from, well, this is where we're at now in the basics, and we have all this of where we're going to. And since we've done the things that we've said in the past, you watch us execute on this. So that's where we're at now. So our blockchain is a basic Ethereum virtual machine. There's nothing special about it yet. We're a layer 3 on base, but we already have a lot of different things that we want to accomplish. And so by being in the crypto and privacy space for a while, we're really familiar. We have a great team at Horizen Labs. We have about 70 people overall at Horizen Labs. We have a great developer team headquartered in Milan, and we have a lot of experience of building and operating blockchains. However, we also have cryptographers that regularly write and present papers on advanced cryptography. And we have software developers that are able to take these advanced cryptographic ideas and implement them into software. And so there's not a lot of teams that have that capability. That's really one of our strengths. And so as we look in the space for how we can accomplish this selective disclosure of information, or if we want to talk about what the holy grail in this space would be, a stable coin with privacy capabilities that is also regulatory compliant. Nobody's been able to develop that yet. Nobody's been able to roll that out. So there's a lot of people that are trying to in a bunch of different ways. In fact, our CTO at Horizen Labs, Zane Chang, he gave a presentation at ECC in July on the different paths that many different projects are taking to get to that type of stable coin. And there's 4 main privacy technologies that are being used. They all have 3-letter acronyms, which is great because
Oh,
you're an insider in the industry when you hear the 3-letter acronyms and
yeah,
you know what they are.
right.
So the ones in this space are TEE, which is a trusted execution environment,
Okay.
and TEE. It actually runs on your phone.
Oh,
It runs on your laptop. It runs on servers. So it's basically like a small area of your computer where a program can run, and none of the other programs or even the operating system can see what's being run.
all
So
right.
yeah, it's a secure enclave, and so it's great if you need to do something that can't be hacked or can't be shared. So that's one thing. Now, none of these technologies are perfect. They all have trade-offs. So the problem with a TEE is that sometimes if an attacker has control of your machine, they might be able to somehow see what's going on in there.
Okay.
Nothing's perfect, right? But if somebody,
Yeah.
um, if it's on your phone, if it's in a computer, there's a lot of cases where you absolutely have no problem using TEEs at all. And just because it's not perfect doesn't mean it can't be good enough, and it can't.
Right.
Right. So you have to do something. Just
Exactly.
sitting back and saying nothing's perfect, so I'm not going to do anything. That doesn't
Yes.
work.
Hmm.
So TEE is the first one. ZK, so zero knowledge, or ZKP, zero knowledge proofs is another one. You've heard probably a lot about that in
Hmm.
the last couple of years. Zero knowledge proofs are great. The cryptography on that has been advancing significantly. And the way I think of zero knowledge proofs is you're able to prove that something was done without sharing the actual information.
Hmm.
You have
Right.
public inputs, you do a computation, and then you generate a zero knowledge proof that the computation was done per the circuit and it followed all the rules. And there's two others, FHE, which is fully homomorphic encryption, which basically says if you encrypt things and then add them together, the added together thing represents it. It's great for things like private voting. So say
Okay.
you wanted to encrypt your vote, and then you add the hundreds or thousands of votes together, you get a total. And so everybody's had their encrypted vote. You can look at the blockchain and see that your vote was counted, and nobody knows what you voted. That's an
Ah,
example.
okay. Nice.
Yeah, and then MPC is multi-party computation. Sometimes, all this stuff is it's being run by multiple parties so that if one of the parties is compromised, everything still runs well.
All right.
In those four areas, so Horizen's already familiar with zero knowledge proofs.
Uh-huh.
And so that we encourage the applications that are running on Horizen to use zero knowledge proofs. We think the best and fastest way to get these types of privacy implementations is actually with TEE, so the trusted execution environment. So some of the applications that we have already awarded grant funding to are
Hmm.
using a version of TEE. And this is
Okay.
for, private trading,
Hmm.
an exchange with privacy capabilities. There's a lot of desire for this in the crypto
Hmm.
space.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's really helpful hearing the different areas of privacy. We had a previous guest on the show, Seth for Privacy with Cake Wallet, and he was kind of saying similar things like, with the trade-offs, and one of the things was around usability. So that was like another thing that was interesting to hear because he was saying, you can really implement a lot of privacy features, but sometimes the trade-off is then usability, which can be tricky too. So yeah, there's always a trade-off. There's always a balance to consider when building. So I guess going back to base, where you look at where execution, users, and liquidity sit, what sort of signals made base the right environment to build on?
So when you talk about base, you got to look at Coinbase as well, because I always like to look at who are the people that are behind working on something and working to accomplish it. And
Mm-hmm.
Coinbase has consistently been one of the leaders
Mm-hmm.
in working to get regulatory acceptance for crypto in the Western world. And so it's great to work with an organization that shares similar goals and methods and ideas. Base is also the fastest growing ecosystem. So there's a lot of users on there that are, there's a lot of users on there. Now, and when we looked at one of the ways that Base is implementing app chains is something that makes it very easy to transfer tokens from Base to a layer 3 easily and quickly. And so our idea would be that we have these applications that are so compelling that people would say, oh, well, I'm going to move my token or move my stablecoin over to this Horizen application through this bridge fast and inexpensively. Then I'll use the application because for this application, I need to do a private payment, or I need to
Mm-hmm.
be able to do some trading with one of my partners, and I don't want to be front run, or I don't want other people to see what it's being done. So if you think of it from a business standpoint, you could say, oh, it's time to run payroll. I'm going to move to the application running on Horizen so I can send my stable coins out to the people that work for me. See,
Okay.
right? So, there's a ton of liquidity and tokens and things like that on Base. And by being the blockchain, by being the L3 that focuses on doing things in a way with privacy and having that be adjacent to the base system, when people want to use the applications, we want to make it as seamless and frictionless as possible for them to just come over and use the applications.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And when teams, are trying to say add privacy. What is a common mistake that, people tend to make, and how would you approach it differently?
Yeah. So your point about usability is really important. Like if I'm going to use a payment app that um, it really needs to get all its work done in less than 10 seconds in a really usable way, and that's not very expensive. So one of the things that we see a lot from the applications for grants programs is that, first of all, people are trying to solve all the problems all at once.
Right. Yeah.
And, the real world doesn't work that way. What we want to do is to be able to say, okay, here is here is a problem that needs solving. Not it doesn't make something just better. It actually doesn't have a solution right now. It's causing people pain to not have this solution. And so um, it could be uh, it could be industry specific. There's a lot of
Hmm.
very specific things. But that's one of the issues that I see is that people come up with an idea that's neat from a technological standpoint, but they haven't identified if there's anybody that's actually willing to pay for it.
Hmm.
And they try to make it too big of a solution. They're like, oh, we can, do this and everybody in crypto will want to use this. That's a real hard competitor set to go against.
Yeah.
Find one specific problem, preferably outside the industry. That way you can bring more money into this industry and you
Hmm.
actually solve somebody's problem. So, yeah, in this space, we have a number of DAOs and foundations, and they tend to pay people with stable coins. So that's one thing. DAOs have votes periodically. And so how are these votes tallied? As institutions and companies use these new financial rails more and more, we need to integrate. We need to integrate into accounting programs. We need to integrate into point of sale programs. We need to integrate into different types of things. Identity is a huge one. And when you say identity, it's such a wide open world. One of them is a passport, your identity that's been given to you by your government. Another is
Hmm.
at work. Say you have an identity at work. Um, you have a driver's license, you have all sorts of different things. These are all ones that have been imposed or provided to you by large organizations. There's a whole nother way of looking at identity. Identity could be looked at as all the things that you've accomplished in your life. You're a parent, you have this degree, you've lived in this place, you've accomplished this, you've worked at this, you've run a marathon. There's a number of different things that come together to build your identity from ground up. And as we
Hmm.
have this identity developed, we also have to be careful about sharing it. So I think there's some countries right now that are saying, like Australia, if you want to go on the internet, you got to prove you're older than 18. So you got to upload all your identity. It would be great to have some kind of application that easily integrates into these things that shows that you have an identity and you only prove that the part of what you need is important. So, um, that's what we're seeing is we're
Hmm.
seeing that and we have a number of people that have applied for grants that have very more specific types of use cases and
Okay.
are able to accomplish something. Because if you can accomplish something with a specific use case and it's successful and then it makes you money, you can always grow from there. But
Hmm.
trying to do something huge and not getting it off the ground, that's hard to support.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's a great example with Australia as well. A lot of good example there. So we talked about Horizen moving to an L3. Can you talk a bit about the motivation behind that, and also around the timing?
Yeah. So um, when we decided to do the migration, we realized that there's three different major steps. One was moving the token over, and
Hmm.
we accomplished that in July. Second was launching our own blockchain, which is important because then we can get applications running on it. And third is improving the blockchain by customizing it, by adding additional features and capabilities that enhance the privacy. So the Horizon Labs team is working on a special type of implementation of a trusted execution environment that has a lot of pre-written capabilities that make it more straightforward to share elements of the information. So,
Okay.
which gives you the regulatory compliant thing. So we're in the second of three steps right now. So we got the token, we've got the blockchain, and now over the next few years, as rapidly as possible in multiple specific ways, we're going to improve the blockchain for being able to realize the original vision that we had.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Um, so is there, we've covered a lot. I'm just looking, we're nearly at our time. But is there anything else important that we didn't cover or you would like to talk about before we wrap up?
So there's a lot of different projects in the space, and a lot of people that are coming at it from a number of different places.
Mm-hmm.
I really see when I talk to folks about the industry that I'm in, I usually say that I'm in finance and technology. Um,
Okay.
because the public perception of crypto is, in some cases, that it's full of gamblers and criminals, whereas the
Unfortunately.
people that work inside it,
Yeah.
they recognize that yes, just like any technology, criminals use it, and
Mm-hmm.
sure, there's gambling that's going on, but the way I see it is we're building these new technology rails, in the ownership space where people can um, build things and own the applications in the space because we're a regular protocol. The first thing we're building is the new financial rails that the entire world is going to operate on, and it's going
Yeah.
to extend beyond that. So
Mm-hmm.
I would love to um, be at the place where when I say I'm working in this industry and I've been in this industry for almost 10 years now, that
Yeah.
people look up to it and say, "Oh, that's really neat. That's great that you're
Yeah.
you're building that." Instead of I can sometimes see them thinking internally, "Is this a criminal or a
Oh my
gambler
gosh.
or what's
Yeah.
going on here?"
Yeah, you never know what kind of reaction you're gonna get. It's different every time. Yeah. Totally. I will get that. We'll get that. I'm sure of it. And do you have any, I guess, like highlights along the way or just like moments that you particularly enjoyed where it's just like milestones or solving a particular problem? Because yeah, you said you've been in this space for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many different things that we've accomplished. One of the things that I'm really proud that we've accomplished is that we're still around. There's a lot of teams that have come and gone. And not only are we still around, we've built and maintained and continue to improve the core team that builds and maintains everything. We have a bunch of community members that have been with us from the very beginning worldwide, because one of
Yeah,
the first
nice.
things that we did was we translated documents to Spanish and to Chinese. And so we have supporters all over the world. That's really
Amazing.
yeah, that's really one of the most enjoyable aspects for me is working with good people that have been with us for a while, either as supporters or contributors, and being able to say, okay, we're going through these difficult things. There's ups
Hmm.
and downs in the crypto space. We're still here. We're
Yeah,
still building. I think that's something to be very proud of.
definitely. Yes, for sure. And what would you say to other founders or builders in the space, sort of weathering the sort of harder times?
Yeah. So Uh, wow. As a business owner, payroll is always your biggest expense. Um, and don't try to grow too fast too soon, but find a real problem to solve. It's an old sales adage. Don't try to sell somebody a vitamin to make their life better. Sell them an aspirin to stop the pain that they're experiencing right now. And then get outside of crypto. Look in all sorts of different industries. There's a lot of different industries. They have problems to solve and they have money to spend. They just need you to explain it to them in their way. So focus
Hmm.
on some specific problems and figure out how we can use these new toolkits to address them in a way that makes everybody makes everybody work together well.
Right. Well, that's great advice. Thank you for sharing that perspective. So, where can people go to learn more and connect with you and Horizen?
Yeah. So our ticker is Zen, Zen. And that, if you go to our website, Horizen, the Horizon is spelled CEN.io. And that's a great place to start. We keep that up to date with our blogs and our roadmap and our X contact. We have a great, an active Discord space. We have Telegram in English and in Chinese. There's a lot of different places. We usually have pretty good representation at the larger crypto events. We had a team of almost 10 people at DevConnect in Buenos Aires. We'll be at ETH Denver in February. And so I think we're going to have a booth there. So would love to have people come talk to us. And we have a grants program that's active right now. We're still evaluating people's applications. And as people go through and build the grants, we're continuing to give them money as they hit milestones, or they'll be out of the program if they don't hit the milestones, and the money will be appropriate or available for other people. And we have regular videos, discussions, podcasts, all sorts of things like that. We like to try to be very straightforward about what our plans are, who the people are
Awesome.
that are behind this, what we've accomplished, and what we're looking to do.
Nice, nice. Transparency, communication, all good things. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Rolf. It's been awesome to talk to you, to hear about, the days from your time in the military and kind of the different iterations of Horizen to your launch on mainnet on base. So congratulations again. Exciting times for you and the team. I look forward to keeping track and seeing what the new year brings for you guys.
Thank you very much, Lindsey. Best of luck to you as well. Anything that I can do to help promote your podcast or help you, it's great that we have people like you that are interested in finding out what's going on and communicating it to the larger public. So that's really super important and necessary, and I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's super interesting to me, and yeah, it's nice sort of getting the word out there about what quality projects are building. So yeah, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Rolf. Okay, that's it for today's episode of Token for Your Thoughts. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe and follow the podcast for more insights from the people shaping crypto and Web3. We'll see you on the next episode.